water system was already contaminated. The water that's on the island. They have to chlorinate it truly heavily to get it to be drinkable. I met some people, just a couple stories. I met a guy who was drinking water from a pipe that ran underneath the cemetery. He was so desperate, he drank the water on the other side. He got some kind of an intestinal problem, gastrointestinal problem. They had to cut him open to just to let it fester out of his body. I met Taino Indians, Native Americans, that were bleeding from their eyes, from their gums, swollen stomachs. And when we started to produce the water on the island, I had to explain to everybody that this water was already there because it was in the moisture and the humidity in the air that was around them.
Wow.
And so in Puerto Rico, we set the machine up, and basically liquid, solid, and gas is the only three ways the water comes. And we produce water for the entire island after Hurricane Maria. So the people there accepted the technology, but I had to explain to them that where it was coming from because nobody believed me that it was pulling me out of the air.
Right, right. And you know, it's a concept that I think people understand. Listen, I know as a black woman, we understand that there is moisture in the air and we protect our hairstyles. And trust me, we get that. We know when that moisture, you go down to New Orleans, you have a different hair plan than you do when you're maybe up in New Jersey or Miami. But the bottom line is that you are correct. It affects and you can pull water from the air. How much water does this machine process, let's say, over a day?
Look at this mighty God, and this God is building.
Gallons that it processes and how fast?
1,250 gallons of water a day.
You heard that?
5,000 liters.
Wow.
So what the fuck you paying for water for? The government need to be sued.
Water out of the air, and people are taking it. The machine continues to fill up as you empty it.
Now, all the white dudes in the army want to sit beside his machine.
You sit there long enough, it'll make that 200 gallons back. So when you're removing water, it's continuously refilling the machine. Endless supply.
Yes, yes. Along this process, you are also eliminating food deserts. Tell me how you're doing that.
Well, say like you're in a place like this in Chicago. Say you have this tree line over here. Okay, that tree line over there. Say if you're not producing any water here, we have all the water in the air. Well, if I pull the water out of the air using sunlight to produce the water, then that pure water is used to grow food. That is 100% sustainable. So you're pulling the water from the air using solar power to grow food. If you built that closed off over there, all you'd have to do is come back and just pick up the food. It's that simple.
Wow.
Greenhouse, water generator, solar panels, food. You don't even have to touch it. Just put little cameras in there and let all the kids around the United States see the plants grow.
And this water that's generated, does it have to be processed in any way once it's gathered, or you take it as is in terms of just what is the process that it goes through in order to make it usable, if there is one?
Oh, when the machine is when I deploy a machine and it's fresh, it's brand new, it's clean, all the filters are clean, I can drain the water directly off the coil. But going by federal guidelines, as you can see, everything is green. Everything is green because I make equipment for the military. So the military has the technology in use. So it goes just through basic carbon filtration. And then you can control the pH of the water by how much carbon filtration you add or subtract. You can add ozone emitters, ozone transmitters to the water system. You can add chlorinators. You can tailor the water to what you would like to have it. Because what you're doing is you're taking water from its pure source as you make it, so you can do with it what you want.
You know, I think we really have to acknowledge just the fact that you came up with this. What is your background, and when did this come to you that this was something that you should take on, and then how did you actually carry out this idea from beginning to what we're seeing on the screen right now?
Well, it started out as a kid, growing up in Texas, we called it the land of 1,000 springs. So when I was a little kid, we could actually drink water as it came out of the ground. We could jump into creeks and we could swim. We could go fishing. So that's what I grew up with. And then in the military, I was stationed in places where we wouldn't get supplied with water sometimes. And then once in Saudi Arabia, it was so hot that I was like, if we don't get a water supply, I'm going to jump in this helicopter and I'm going to fly someplace where there is some water because we're not going to survive. It was 150 degrees.
Wow.
And then I lived in Australia for 11 years. In Australia, they have a thing called toilet to tap. I got back one year to, I was coming back and forth to the States, and then I got to Australia one time, and we were drinking water from water that just had filtered and turned around from the toilet back to the tap. And then I saw what the drought had done to the country. I saw acres and acres of dead trees because the salt water had creeped back into the ground from the ocean because they pulled up so much fresh water. And seeing all these things, all these different situations around the world with the degradation of pure water, the degradation of our groundwater, and knowing that the atmosphere was full of water because we're always living in this humidity, I decided that, I saw this little machine in Hawaii, and I said, if someone can make a little machine, I could definitely make a big one.
Yep, and that you did. I want to go to our panel. I'm sure that they're as intrigued as I am. Let me start with you, Randy. What question do you have for really this professor of water, if you will?
Everyone